waiting for.
Jerry Jones in an especially good mood on Thursday as he finally joined Zeke in Dallas to announce the deal done. He likened it to his negotiations with Emmitt Smith that also went into the wee hours of the morning. He was also in New York, left his hotel to drink his sorrows away because he says it got ugly, only to return around 2 a.m. to news it was complete.
We can take this thing to the house with him as the running back. We've always known that. I know there's no doubt in the world of sport, especially anybody that keeps up with NFL football, that I'll go the mat with Zeke.
Zeke, I'm told, on pace to play against the Giants on Sunday. As running backs coach Gary Brown told me, it looks like he did, in fact, put in a lot of work while he was away. He says his footwork looks good and his aiming points as well. The biggest difference, he hasn't been hit yet, so they'll continue to monitor him throughout this week before determining what his workload will look like on Sunday.
All right, thank you, Jane. That is the big question. And look at this list right here of great running backs. Zeke ranks second all-time in rush yards per game ahead of Barry Sanders, Terrell Davis, and Eric Dickerson. He trails only the great Jim Brown.
Zeke might have had the best offensive line out of all of those guys, though.
He does have that.
Nobody thinks about that.
Okay, so look, we had he missed all of the offseason, the training there. So the training practices, the preseason, we're not really sure what kind of shape he's going to be in or what the splits are going to be. So what are the expectations for Zeke on Sunday?
Yeah, to me, the realistic expectations should be between 20 to 25 touches. Now, again, touches. Now, that could be in the passing game. That could be handing it off out of the dot. But you do want to limit how many you do want to limit how much exposes the contact that this guy has. I mean, he has not been out there getting hit, right? So you want to limit it as much as you possibly can. I would start him out the gate, getting him a couple of carries, getting him into the game, showing the other defense, look, we're going to establish Ezekiel Elliott. We just paid this dude $100 million, right? And then you see how he's feeling going through the game, and then later on in the game, if you need him to win the game, if you got a 4-minute offense late in the game that you just need a special back to win the game for you, that's when you just feed him. But I think you come into this game with a game plan. I think it's 20 to 25 touches.
Yeah, and having that game plan, I think, is going to help a lot. But the thing I see is Zeke saying, hey, coach, I'm in here. I'm here. And they almost need to protect him against himself because he's going to feel fresh. He's going to feel like, man, give me 35 carries. Give me 40 carries. Don't sub me out. I'm good. But it's not this game you got to worry about. It's the 2, 3, 4 days after this game that he's going to be feeling, because it doesn't matter how hard he's trained in Cabo. It ain't nothing like game speed and game tempo and taking those hits. Guys going at your legs. Zeke is a load. Nobody wants to just go in there and finesse tackle him. They're going to be trying to chop them legs, trying to get as many bodies around him as possible. Everybody on the field on that other team defense is going to know where he is. Believe that. And so I think you almost need to protect him against himself or from himself, because he's going to go out there wanting the ball anytime he's on the field. And like I said, it's what happens to the recovery aspect of it. I want Zeke for week 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, not just week 1, because I'm telling you, he's going to be so.
That's a good point.
Well, ego is a part of it, too, with him, because he's going to be on the same field as Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
so,
and he wants to be shown that he's the top back.
He got paid like the top back.
Last time he had an extended absence 2 years ago when he was suspended for 6 games, came back, 24 carries, I believe 4 catches, so it was 28 touches total. If he gets to that point, I'd be surprised. I think it might be maybe in the lower 20s, right around 20. That's my hunch. But listen, if he's out there and he's not panting and he's not showing them that he's sucking wind, you know what? They'll let him go a little bit more. I mean, so a lot of this you can't predict on a set in Mount Laurel on a Friday. Right?
And I think you also have to be careful when he's in piles and he's moving the pile and trying to drive his legs through the piles, because that's when those soft injuries happen. That's when the hamstrings, that's when the ankle tendons and all of those things happen, because he has been off for such a long time.
And it's nice we've heard that they're monitoring him through the course of this week, because he's the guy who's not always in the best shape, even though he's saying right now, like, look, I was in Cabo really, really working. We've seen Zeke come back off of just an off season to mini camp and all those OTA training camps. Yeah, weight kind of up there. So it's going to be interesting just to kind of see where he is.
But you know, Kellen Moore is like, he's got to be over the moon that he is back, and he has him at least, even if it is only 20, 25 touches.
Because again, this is the street credibility. This is what the other defense has to sit up in that. Okay, if I get a defensive back, a safety, I get Zeke in the open field. How do I approach this guy? Am I coming from an angle? Do I give him a two-way go? Those are the things that these defenses have to think
Seven-man boxes versus eight-man boxes.
Big
guys
deal.
in the secondary who now have to worry about the run instead of covering guys like Amari Cooper and the rest of those receiving threats.
We're on again tomorrow. Save it.
I got a lot. I got a lot.
Antonio Brown.
Team, where do they go from here?
I know it's tough. It's difficult because, yeah, as an analyst and as a fan, and then you're a brother also, so you're kind of torn. But this is a difficult situation. Obviously, John Gruden talked about it. He hopes it works out, and I think that's the sentiment throughout the entire organization. They've gone to bat for this guy with the helmet, missing practices, through all expect to have it. He's not going to play Monday night. He's not playing Monday night. As far as the players are concerned, as far as Derek's concerned, they're not going to have Antonio Brown for the Monday Night Football game. What happens after that? It's really on Antonio Brown and what he decides to do as a professional, as a man.
There's a line, and I think the team got pushed over that line, and I think the players are right up to that line right now. So it's could be salvaged.
Yeah, but well, because a lot of most of the players in that locker room are like, okay, if I did this, I'd have been out of the door already. So is it different rules for different guys?
Oh, it
now?
definitely is.
And don't get me wrong, like, you know, I had a coach tell me this one time. He said, you know, you'll be treated fairly, but not equal. And it resonated with me. Like, okay, I get it. Some guys get paid a certain amount, so you take a certain amount of things from certain guys. But if I'm players in that locker room, I'm like, bruh, peace. Like, for real, because if it was me and I'm a role player, you wouldn't put up from this. You wouldn't put up with this type of behavior. And come on, Antonio, you're not bigger than the organization.
See, I tell you, I always feel bad for AB because I've been that guy that the coach said, hey, everybody get on the bus. And I'm like, no, I ain't getting on the bus. I'm taking my Ferrari. I'll holler at y'all later. As a young dude. And so, like I said, and heck, the coach jumped in the car with me and rolled with me. But as a young dude, and that's why I'm so like, come on, AB, figure it out, bro. Like, at this point in your career, you should have figured it out by now. And you should know. Obviously, like you said, there's rule guys and guideline guys. That's what the coach told me. This dude has to follow the rules. This guy, he has credit in my emotional bank account. He can do a little bit more. His leash is a little bit looser. We all understand that as players. But come on. At a certain point, I don't care who you are. Albert Haynesworth was a $100 million guy. That leash was short. I mean, was long at first. And then they just kept cutting it, reeling it in, reeling it in, reeling it in.
What do you think the Steelers are doing right now, watching all of this unfold?
Smiling.
I give so much credit to Mike Tomlin and the Steelers in general, just
for being able to cut rope and just say, you know what, we messed up, because they helped create it.
Yeah, but there was drama there, but it was never like, I mean, it was messy, but this is like a whole new level of messy.
Yes,
well, because
they kept it in-house.
But they tried.
They tried.
For the most part.
But that must have been really hard.
The last year, right? But we look, AB didn't wake up one day and just become this guy. We know it was a gradual process, and they did a good job until really last year, keeping it under wraps, keeping AB and the personality that is him under wraps.
But they kept paying him, knowing exactly who he was. They're culpable in this.
Eventually,
they created this. They helped create.
If you ever watch Seinfeld, Jerry in the show would feign sympathy and say, that's a shame. That's what the Steelers are doing.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, I mean, really, Antonio.